Today we are reviewing 9.2 surface area of pyramids. Our I can statements for today are I can find surface area of regular pyramids and I can solve real life problems. So surface area of pyramids. Triangular pyramids have one triangle base and three triangular faces. All right, square pyramids have one square base and four triangular faces. And then slant height is the height of the triangular face. Slant height is the height that we use for surface area. When we get to volume of pyramids, we'll use the actual height, which is the tip down to the center of the base. But slant height, that's the one we need for surface area. That's the height of the triangular face. All right, so always our first step for pyramids is to look at the shape to see what the type of pyramid is. That tells us how to find the area of the base, how to find the area of how many faces we have. So this one is a triangular pyramid. If you take a look at how I outlined that, hopefully you can see the triangle. There is a 7.8, and that is pointing there. That's going to be the height of my base triangle. And then I have the 9. That's the side of my triangle. So I'm going to do base times height and divide it by 2. I have the formula already written up here. So I'm going to do 9 times 7 and 8/10. And then I'm going to take that value and I'm going to divide by 2. So when I do that, that gives me 35 and 1/10. That's the area of my base. Now I'm going to do the area of my lateral faces. Those are the triangles that are on the side. So I have to take a look at the triangle on the side and I have to figure out what the numbers are that go with it. So the tricky one about how this one is labeled, you can see that the 10 yards here is our slant height. That's pointing there. But it kind of looks like the 7.8 is the base. You have to pay attention to the fact that that 7.8 is pointing to the inside. 9 is the one on the outside. So 9 is actually the number that we need for this part, the base of our face triangle. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use those numbers. I'm going to do 10 times 9. And I'm going to divide by 2 to get the area for 1. So 10 times 9 is 90, divided by 2 is 45. But because there are 3 triangles, we need to take that number and we need to multiply it by 3. So once I add or multiply those together, 45 times 3, I get an area of 135. So my last step is to add those areas together. So I have 35 and 1/10 plus 135. All right, and when I add that, I get 170 and 1/10. And then I need to make sure I have a label on my answer. That's going to be yards squared. Okay, let's take a look at this next shape. So this one is a square pyramid. If you look at the base here, you can see that's a square, and both sides of my square have a side length of 8 inches. So I do length times width for the area of the base. 8 times 8, that's going to be 64. That's my area of my base. Then I need to do the area of my face. So when I look at the triangle here on the side, here's my triangle. I've got a base of that triangle of 8, and I have a slant height for that triangle, which is 10. So I'm going to do 10 times 8 and divide it by 2. That's going to tell me the area for one of those triangles. 10 times 8 is 80, divided by 2 is 40. Because the base is a square, I actually have 4 of those triangles. So I do 40 times 4, and that gives me 160. So then my last step on this one is to add my areas together. So 64 plus 160. That's going to give me 224 inches squared. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and try these next two problems. Okay, let's see if your answers were right. So number one, when we look over here, this one is a square pyramid. If you look closely at the base here, that's a square. Because it's a square, that means both sides are going to be 6 centimeters. So for my square, I'm going to do base times height. 6 times 6, that's going to be 36. Length times width, base times height, same thing. Now I'm going to do my triangles. I do need to make sure I divide by 2. So I'm going to do base times height, 6 times 11, divided by 2. That gives me the area for one triangle. And then I'm going to multiply that by 4 because I have 4 triangles that are the same. So 6 times 11 is 66, divided by 2 is 33. And then I'm going to multiply that 33 times 4. So when I multiply that out, I get 132. My last step here is to add my two areas together. Those are the numbers I need. So 36 plus 132. My final surface area will be 168 centimeters squared. If I take a look at this next one, draw a square pyramid with a base side length of 12 centimeters and a slant height of 7 centimeters. What is the surface area? So square pyramid, I need a square on the bottom because it's in 3 dimensions. It kind of looks slanted here. And it says side lengths of that square are 12. So I'm going to go ahead and label 12 centimeters on 2 of my sides. I'm going to pick a point at the top. Okay, and then my slant height, I'm going to just do a little dotted line for that. That's going to be 7 centimeters. So there's my drawing. Now I need to find the surface area. So I'm going to do the same steps that I did for the last one. I'm going to start with my square. Side lengths are 12, so I'm going to do 12 times 12. That gives me a surface area, or sorry, an area of 144 for the square. Now I'm going to do the triangles. There are 4 of them. So 7 times 12 divided by 2. That's going to give us a one of the triangles times by 4 to give us all 4. 7 times 12 divided by 2, that's going to be 42. And then times 4. So 42 times 4, that's going to give me 168. My last step is going to be adding those values together. So 144 plus 168. And that's going to give me an answer of 312 centimeters squared. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try these next two problems. All right, let's go ahead and see if you got your answers correct. Number 3, find the surface area of the regular pyramid. This one is a triangular pyramid. It shows me that my height here is 13 inches and my base is 15 inches. So I'm going to start with my base triangle. I'm going to do 15 times 13, and I'm going to take that divided by 2. And that is 97.5. All right, so now I need to do my face triangles. So if I take a look at my face triangles here, because 15 is the length of this side, it's going to be the length of this side as well. Remember that 13 is pointing to the inside. That does not count for my face triangle. So the numbers I need here, 10, that's my slant height, 15, that's the length of my base. Okay, so my face triangles, I'm going to do 10 times 15 divided by 2. That will give me the area for one triangle. Times by 3 because I have 3 triangles. So 10 times 15, that's 150, divided by 2 is going to give me 75. All right, and then I'm going to multiply 75 times 3. That gives me 225. I now have the two numbers that I need, 225 for my face triangles, 97 and a half for my base triangle. So I'm ready to add 97 and a half plus 225. That gives me an answer of 322 and 5/10 inches squared. All right, let's take a look at number 4. Draw a regular triangular pyramid whose base has sides that are 6 inches in height of 4.5 inches. The slant height of the pyramid is 8 inches. Find the surface area of the pyramid. So I'm starting with a triangle on the base since it told me it was a triangular pyramid. So here's my triangle. They tell me that the height of this triangle, which is that part is going to be 4.5 inches. They tell me that the base of the sides, that's 6. So that means all the sides are 6. I'm going to go ahead and connect it up to be a pyramid. And then my slant height, which is this part right here, that is going to be 8 inches. Okay. So now that I have that set up, I'm going to go ahead and solve for my surface area. I'm going to start with my face triangles. Actually, sorry, I'm going to start with my base. I always start with my base. It doesn't really matter. But since that's what I normally do, that's what I'm going to do here. So, base triangle. They told me for the base that I had 6 and 4.5. Those are the numbers they told me to use. So I'm going to do 6 times 4.5, and because it's a triangle, you have to divide by 2. Don't forget about that divide by 2 part. So that's going to give me an area of 13 and a half. That's my area for my base. Now I'm going to do my face triangles. Okay, so they tell me the face triangle, if I look over at my picture, I've got 8 inches for the height on that and 6 for the base. Those are the numbers I need. So 6 times 8 divided by 2 gives me the area for one of those triangles. And since the base is a triangle, that means I have 3 faces. So I need to multiply that times 3. Okay, so 6 times 8 divided by 2, that gives me 24. And then I'm going to do 24 times 3. That's going to give me an area of 72. All right, so now I have the 2 parts that I need for my answer. I have 13 and a half for the area of the base. I have 72 for the area of all my faces. And then when I add them together, I get 85 and 5/10 inches squared. Okay, last 2 problems here are composite solids. Let's go ahead and work through number 5 together. So for number 5 here, I've got a rectangular prism at the bottom and I've got a square pyramid at the top. Now, they don't tell me this side, this part right here, but it looks like a square, and since they don't tell me otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and just make the assumption that that side is also 48. So I'm going to start with my rectangles. I've got long and skinny rectangles. If I look on my picture, my rectangles, 18, 48. And then I have 4 of those rectangles around the shape. So I'm going to have to take that part and I'm going to have to multiply it by 4. Okay, so that part, when I multiply it out, gives me 3,456. That's for the square, or I'm sorry, for the rectangles. I have 1 square down at the bottom. That's going to be 48 times 48. I only have 1 of those. So that's going to give me an area of 2,304. All right, and then for my last one here, I have the triangles. Because my base is a square, all my triangles are going to be the same. So for one triangle, I would have to do 48 times 25 divided by 2. And then since there are 4 of them, we're going to times that value by 4. So 48 times 25 divided by 2, when I do that part, that gives me 600 for the area for one triangle. And then I have to times that by 4, since I have 4 of the triangles. So that's going to give me 2,400. That's the area of the triangles. So my last step is going to be adding together the 3 numbers that I boxed in. Those are all my individual areas. So I've got 3,456 plus 2,304 plus 2,400. So that's going to give me an area 8,160 centimeters squared. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. Try number 6 on your own. It is the exact same steps as number 5, except that the shape overall is turned on its side compared to how number 5 looks. Okay, let's go ahead and check to see if your answer for number 6 is right. So for this one, I think I'll start with the square. That's on the side right here. Tells us our side lengths for the square are 3 and 3. So for the square part, I have 3 times 3, and that's 9. Then I have 4 rectangles. They're all going to be the same since the base is a square. So here's one rectangle. Find the area for that rectangle. I'm going to do 8 times 3. And then I'm going to do that times 4 because I have 4 of those size of rectangle. That's going to give me an area of 96. All right, and then the last step here, that's to do the triangles. Because the base is a square, all of the triangles will be equal. Here's one of my triangles. Tells me the slant height is 5, that's that part. And since this side is 3, this side's going to be 3 as well. Okay, so for my triangles, I'm going to do 3 times 5 divided by 2 for the area for one triangle, times 4 for the area for 4. So 3 times 5, 15 divided by 2 gives me 7 1/2. All right, and then I'm going to do 7 1/2 times 4. So that's going to give me an area of 30. And my last step, I need to add these areas together, my answers from the last problems. So when I add those, I get 9. Oops, I don't want to do times. Let's try that again. 9 plus 96 plus 30. It's going to give me a total answer of 135 inches squared.